Good morning. I'm Julia and you're watching Julia at Home. Today we want to show you our schoolroom, so welcome. You might notice that our schoolroom is actually our living room and our dining room and our kitchen. It's basically the main floor of our house. I did last year have a separate schoolroom that I made in our basement that looked a little bit like a Montessori classroom with lots of shelves and our Montessori materials. However, it just wasn't working for our style of homeschooling right now. So it might be something I go back to in the future, but right now our basement has the shelves and the Montessori materials I basically use. I store them there and then I bring some up when I'm using them. You'll see some on our shelves, but only a few at a time because if too many are out, really most of them that are out will get played with when I am cooking or doing other things and may not be able to watch for little pieces and things like that. So there's a limited number out at a time, and then I can go down and bring up, the movable alphabet or more golden beads or whatever works that I want the kids to be working on. They can also request works. That hasn't really happened yet, but they could potentially request them, and I would bring them up for them to work on. But enough chit chat. You want to see our schoolroom, so let's go. So we actually started outside our front door, and we're gonna start the tour here and go on inside. Ready?
And we found cicada skin.
Yes, and we found a cicada skin. All right, inside, bud. Okay. Here is the view when we step inside our front door here. We're gonna just take you around the room, starting on this side. So starting actually at the door we just came in, this is our stroller by the door. It lives there because we use it almost every day when we go on our walks. There is a chalkboard above that just has some notes on what I should bring when we go swimming or on field trips. And behind the stroller is a shelf that has things like my bag and umbrellas and hats and extra bags and sweatshirts and stuff that we might need when going outside. Sorry for the loud playing noises in the background. Moving over here, we've got a bookshelf and some toys. These are just books I put out. Ideally, I switch it out each week. It's usually more so every month or so that I just want to look at with the kids or want to encourage them to look at. You can see we've got there's usually a bunch of nature books out here because we all like nature books. And right now I have The Children Just Like Me as we're starting our geography study. We also have a little Van Gogh picture book down there because Van Gogh is our artist right now. So those are the books. Moving over, we've got some of our favorite toys here, stuffed animals, play cloths and play silks, our horse, our dinosaur tails, our kitchen, and the toddler's tea and bat. So the bottom two shelves here, really the bottom three shelves, are aimed at my son. And here he comes. Okay. We've got books that are his favorites and basically baby board books down here. And then some bean bags. This is actually a really cool, my dad got for him, has screws and it comes with a little drill that actually works with the screws, and he can put together and take apart the bulldozer. Pine cones. And then we've got some Montessori materials here. We've got a sensorial material, the cylinder blocks 1 and 2, and a practical life activity, which is coins in coin slot. Moving up the bookshelf, that next shelf up is actually our reading shelf for my daughter. We have our double letter sandpaper letters there for double letter sounds. Then we have early reader books. So we have our Usborne's First Reading Library and phonics set, as well as some others that we have, and a couple we took out from the library. So those are for her to choose to read. And then moving up, we've got games, and you'll see we have more games elsewhere in the room. These ones are more so, there's puzzles and games, more so ones that are aimed at kids. Moving along, on the other side of the couch, you will see, and you will hear sounds from books, more bookshelves. These are new from this year, and I am loving having more shelves. So I'm just gonna start at the top on these and work my way down. So on top we have, on the right hand side there's puzzles, on the left hand side there's games. You might see a tray up there, and that is because it was a material activity that I put out for my 2-year-old that they kept losing the pieces for. So now it lives up there unless we're using it under supervision. On the right-hand shelf, the top shelf there is read alouds. We've already done some of them. Some of them I plan to do in the future. We just have a little watercolor I did up there. And in that little blue basket is actually our cards for our calendar. So I will be showing you our calendar in a little bit. Moving down, that next shelf down is actually our writing shelf with some geography supplies. So these here, these binders are actually their geography binders that I will show you in a separate video. This goes with geography materials. It's stamp pads and stamps and map dots, which I will also show you in another video. And then this is stuff for writing. So we've got a salt tray here for my daughter to practice writing in sensorially. We've got other things to practice writing, mini chalkboards, chalk, number wipe away cards, story cards. So basically writing stuff. This is actually also for writing, and here I put it's a little tea tin that my sister gave us, and I put little slips of paper with the double letter sounds so that when we choose which one we're working on, we can choose it out of there. This is actually for letter writing, so we haven't done it yet, but eventually I want her to be able to use this little kit to write letters to family and friends. We've got our writing books here that you might have seen in other videos, and some more just books for drawing and writing. And this is actually, this was my nature journal before I got an actual physical book, and it just lives here for right now until I transfer the materials into my book. Oh, and this here, I actually just made, you know, a sample for her with the letters, what they look like, so that when we use this stuff, she has a visual to remember what they look like. The next couple shelves down are nature shelves, which I should probably clean out and reorganize a little bit. The book that's open there is Diary of an Edwardian Lady, and it is gorgeous. So for those of you who like nature journaling, anything like that, you might enjoy it. I found it at our thrift shop, and I was very excited because I had seen other people have it. And then moving on down, so the 3 shelves, not the bottom, but 1, 2, 3, all have nature stuff on them. So this is just basically objects and tools like our binocular and magnifying glass. Down here we have field guides and our handbook of nature study, and I use this lid here so that they can put objects on them and kind of take that whole lid out to the table and investigate. And then below that, the books are generally nature themed, non-fiction-y books. And the bottom shelf here is our library bookshelf. The basket is my daughter's, so she can keep hers somewhat separate. Moving this way, that's just generally preschool fiction. Some of our favorite stories are there. We also have some anthologies, like our Beatrix Potter anthology from my grandmother is there. And above that, we have a music. Let me see if I can show you what's in this tray here. Some musical instruments, so a lot of percussion mainly. Instruments and a rain stick and stuff for them to play with. And over here, the books to the left of that tray are music and art specific books, as well as more spiritual books that I consider more spiritual. Above that are our bells, and the ones in the tray we use, so I can pull this tray out with our preschool prodigies. And then these, somebody was getting into, but they're actually, spray painted the outsides white so that we can do matching activities, taking the other ones out and matching them, and then you can check afterwards to see the color. They can also be used, I hope to use them in the future, for putting them in order from, you know, low to high or high to low, so that way when they're facing down and you're playing them, you're not, you can't see what it is, so the color doesn't give it away. Above our music are some more materials for my daughter and her schoolwork. So you might recognize if you've watched another video, the golden beads here. This is not all of them. There's more in the basement, but I pulled up a good number for us to use for our math that we're doing right now. We also have some counters, and we use these when we do random math. So if there's any other reason we're doing, you know, adding or subtracting, or we're playing the game Sum Swamp, for example, I'll take those out. And these are our phonogram folders, which she's looked at, but we haven't officially used yet, but they're ready to go here, and that's probably another video on what they are and how we use those. Moving on up again, we have reference books and books that are too big to fit on other shelves. And then these baskets and boxes here are actually geography supplies. So we've been doing little passports. We're actually almost done with the year, and there's a new one to open later today. So I've organized a lot of the materials in here because they were overflowing our suitcase from little passports. And then this up here is actually, it's got a fabric map on it. Ooh. I might pull it out and show it later, but there's a big fabric map and landmark objects and cards to match and put on the map. I do little passports for later, okay? And then above that we have more games, and these ones are more adult, you know, aimed at adult games, but there are some of them we do play with the kids as well, such as Wildcraft. Keep moving to the left here, something, that's my kitchen behind there, and something I just wanted to point out is this is our happiness jar for this year, and I got the idea on Pinterest, but these slips of paper and the pen are here, so if something that makes us happy happens, such as, you know, maybe I'll write one after we go to the county fair, or if somebody does something particularly kind, write it down and then fold it up and put it in our jar, and the idea is on New Year's Eve we'll open it and read it. And moving on this way, I'm gonna back up so I can show you a full visual. This is the wall you face when you walk in the door. We've got our United States map up there, which I got from Walmart a while ago. We've got toys on the shelves, and those baskets there hold wooden train set, and the right one holds blankets, extra blankets. And then over here is our calendar in the middle that I showed you. The blue basket before has the extra cards for the, you know, months and seasons and the weather and the moon. And so the ones we switch out daily are the weather and the moon, and then we move the ring, which I kept meaning to decorate, but has been that way for a couple of years now since I made this. We also have some baskets with books up here for some of the things we're studying. So we're doing a little bit of a study of space this year, so we've got some of our books on space there. On the other side is our geography basket, and I made these cards that I laminated for each continent. And so right now we're starting with North America, and it also has some general, like the map book and such. And we started with some learning about maps themselves. But let's see if I can pull some up. We've got anything that's related to North America. A lot of these are library books. Some of them are ones that I bought. So they can always pull them down, and then I know where they are when we get to that in school. I just wanted to show you this side of the room before we moved on. Those are our stairs going upstairs. We've got doors to out the front that we came in, the closet and the bathroom, and then that's a changing pad we do still use with my son, and it's a good storage place for diapers and cloths, and actually has towels and stuff for swimming in there, so that's useful. So that's that side of the room. Now we're going to move back into the dining and kitchen area. It's a little tight here, so as we go, I just wanted to quickly show you, this is where we store, well, the vacuum, but also our morning time basket that you may have seen in my morning time video. I've got my clipboard in there and some books for morning time activities. These stairs lead down to the basement. One of the first things we did when we moved in is my father-in-law and my husband put in these, put up the gate. That's that. It's a great idea. Found it on Pinterest. Okay, and again, it's tight over here. I think I'm going to move this way. Okay, I moved through into the side so I could show you this wall. It's a little tight to show you, but we just have, you know, a string with clothespins to show some of the kids' artwork. It's a mix of both of them. And then that's my daughter's reading caterpillar there. It's getting super long, and when she gets to 30 books read, we're going to take her out for ice cream. So it's actually taken longer than I thought it was going to, but she's chosen some really long books, but it's great. We're getting a lot of reading practice, and I wanted to make it challenging, not something too easy. This is our dining area here. You can see the big map we have on the wall there that we use to put our map dots on for geography, and we've really enjoyed having it here in the dining room. We often all look at it during meals and kind of find things we haven't found before or point out things, so that's exciting. On this wall over here, I have a couple of shelves we put in, and there's a lot of stuff on here. So the bottom shelf has, starting on the left, it has there's a picture there. It's the Van Gogh picture we studied this week, and I'm going to leave it up until next week. We'll put the next one up. Some candles that I use during morning time and other times. The green box container thing holds materials for my son's speech. Then we've got a basket that I think has mason jars, extra mason jars in it, and lids. And you can see my daughter's tea set above that. I think you can, there you go, on that tray. To the right of the tea set are our poetry tea books, basically our poetry books. Not just for tea, your tea set on the yellow tray up there. And then on the top shelf, we just have some old, actually I think they're mostly poetry books that I found at a thrift store that are just gorgeous, so I like to display them there. And some decorative stuff, as well as some more storage for, I actually have my seeds for gardening up in one of those baskets. And the basket in the middle is our handwork basket, so that comes down when we're doing an activity where I might be reading to them and want to keep their little hands busy. So we've got little books we made, little books I made for them to color in, some yarn, some early sewing stuff for my daughter, some modeling beeswax. That might be something I pull out in a different video to show you actually. And on the right we have an extra book stand. I have a couple of them around, so we can use it during our school, put it on the table, put a book up. So that's those shelves there. Spinning you back around here so you can get a view outside here is our deck, which has our garden on it. Then over here, if it will focus, is our art shelves as well as our chalkboard table. And the little sign was from earlier this week when we started studying North America. And this again is probably something I should spend a different video on, but we basically have chalk and markers and crayons and random supplies for art and crafting up there. Over here is our learning tower, which is integral to our baking and cooking together. We move it in so that they can reach the counter easily. And we've got big and little aprons. Everybody has their own apron over there. This cabinet houses on the top some cookbooks and also a couple art books, and then the rest of it is pretty much art and random office supplies. In the drawers below there's some kitchen stuff like our napkins and tablecloths and whatnot, as well as some more the sticker books and stuff are in this top drawer here, and it's kind of messy right now. We've also got our paper airplane book and some paper airplane stuffed in there. Probably needs to be sorted out. And the last section here is our kitchen, and I consider it part of our school space just because we do baking and we eat throughout the day. So it's nice that it's kind of open, that there's a window there. I can see what's going on in the other room, and we can just make some tea and some snacks and come over to our dining area and sit and do school. So this space has been working out great for us so far. I'm sure things will be tweaked a little bit along the way, but for right now we're really enjoying it. So if you liked this video, please click the thumbs up button below, and if you would like to see more videos, please subscribe. See you later.